And welcome back to the CSS podcast. I'm your host, Dave Wolferston. In the middle is my son, Sam, and on my right is Charlie Crawley today. So,
hello.
Got a good week ahead of you. I mean, we've talked a little bit about Reds on Tuesday, and we're going to go ahead and continue to talk our traditional FC Cincinnati Reds. And anything on the Bengals front here for our Cincinnati Sports Scene podcast. So, but before we do, we just want you to remember that we're always live on YouTube. You can find us on Cincy Sports Scene, and you can also tune into any of the podcasting platforms that you get your listening pleasures from. So we'll be all over there, and hopefully you like the show and you hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notification so that you know when we are going live, etc. So, but other than that, we are on. Oops, somebody's popping in. Somebody making a cameo appearance. All right, so I guess you didn't want to stay and say hi to the fans out there, but. So with that, how you guys doing today?
Doing good. Can't complain at all. So
yeah, doing well. Yeah, better than the Reds rotation right now. So
yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. But not not looking good right now for the Reds in their rotation, but let's just go ahead and get right into the topic of the week. And we'll talk with FC Cincinnati. We had a couple of games. Recap that Toronto 3-0 victory. And then we can talk about the loss at DC United yesterday, the 3-0 loss. So, gentlemen, do you want to start with the Toronto game? What was your take?
I didn't see anything from the Toronto game. I'm going to kind of pull up the stats here, but I mean 3-0 Toronto's not very good, so you, especially at home, you have to beat those teams, which they did. 3-0. Trying to look at the stats here to see kind of what their lineup was, because part of the reason why they lost yesterday was Miazga and Vasquez are on U.S. national team duty for the Gold Cup, so they were not available, and they were missing another couple of guys as well.
I was going to say Vasquez did score yesterday.
He did, yeah.
Just not for not for FC Cincinnati, so it's a little different. So they were missing 6 guys from the roster against Toronto. So between injuries and the U.S. national team call-ups, and one guy's call-up to Venezuela, Junior Moreno, even though he's also hurt. He got hurt in practice for Venezuela. So that, they're just dealing with that. Again, that's the price you pay with the MLS schedule, because they have to play, since they play during the summer, unlike the rest of the world. All these summer tournaments, you lose guys, for your regular season games. Europe doesn't have to worry about that because all their summer tournaments are during their off season. So,
well, and even when they do the qualifying during the year, they stop the season.
Correct.
They give a 2-week break so that the top players can go play and the teams don't miss anything. So that's why, until MLS fixes that, they're always going to be a second or third tier league. That's never going to change. So it's unfortunate because it hurts the better teams the most. DC United wasn't missing anybody because they're not that good to begin with. So those players don't play for the national teams. But when you're at full strength and you're facing FC Cincinnati's B squad and some C squad guys, there were 3 guys that played yesterday who had never played an MLS game before. So, I mean, it's hard to compete. And then, I mean, I don't know if either of you guys watched the game. Mm-mm. DC's field was crap. I mean, seriously, like you could go find a park in Finneytown probably somewhere that would have had better grass. I mean, it was a mess. It looked terrible. So, but that's here nor there. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's just another one similar to St. Louis earlier in the year, where it's just kind of, you can chalk it up. We didn't missing 6 of our regular guys. Just a bad game. We'll will go out next week. Although they'll be missing guys next week though too.
Mhm.
So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, still in first place by 7
That's 5
points. 5 now? I thought it was
I think
7.
it's 5.
But
Hello.
thought I saw today 7. But
Well, and they're
5 or
playing.
7.
Their next
Still,
game is against, next home game. I don't know if it's the next game, but next
It
home
is
game is
7.
New England Revolution.
Right,
And
it's home
they're in
game.
second. So, but
Yeah.
they're in second.
Okay, so it is a home game for them. That's next Saturday,
Yeah.
the 1st. So it'll be a busy weekend here in the Cincinnati area.
Same night as the Swifties are out there. Swizzle.
Yep.
It'll be a madhouse downtown.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday will be a madhouse because Taylor Swift is in town. So yeah, we could get a full recap. We can send because the producer is going, so we can.
He's going to Taylor Swift.
He's going to Taylor Swift. Yes, he's.
When he pull those tickets off.
He got him the day that everybody the whole thing was crashing. So him and his sister both got him on that day. So they'll both be going down. They're not going together. He's taking his girlfriend and Lydia is going with some of her friends from college, and they are going to have some fun downtown. And then the Reds move their game up and just to accommodate the crowd. So we'll see what happens. But back on the FC front, I know New England's coming to town. It's a big one here. The winning streak, the home victories are still it's 13 home victories. That's still in play for to continue that streak, and hopefully they'll be able to do that. It's going to be a challenge for them, as you guys said. With our better players gone, and hopefully
I will say though, they did just sign a striker. I can't remember his name. He's going to be a designated player. I believe he's eligible to join.
It's like a Spenzio, or he's from Gabon. He's on the Gabon national team. He can start July 5th.
July 5th, yeah. So not this next game, but following that, he should be good to go. So if the U.S. makes a deep run in the Gold Cup like they should, that's somebody that can come in for Vasquez, kind of get his feet wet until Vasquez gets back. So,
all right. So hopefully, we'll be able to come back next week and talk a victory there, and recap the chaotic scene that it was downtown Cincinnati this past weekend and this upcoming weekend. It's great for the city to see that as well. So let's move on to the Reds here. Let's recap the Rockies series. They swept the Rockies for their a second straight sweep, and the Rockies are bad. Rockies are bad. They're bad. I mean, they just got pummeled last night, 25-1, and
that's bad.
But the Angels must have saw something because they traded for Moose. Moose is now Moustakas is now an Angel.
Yeah, the Rockies were able to get something for him.
Yeah, I know.
Probably because they're not paying him anything, but still.
Right. So they got a right-handed relief pitcher or a right-handed pitcher. I don't know if he's a reliever or a starter, but anyhow, the Reds.
Who started that game for the Rockies last night?
It was
our boy
Anderson.
Chase Anderson. Yeah, he's kind of falling off the table there. Yeah. He is true regression to the mean when you're talking about Chase Anderson at this point. His ERA's probably went from 2 to 10 in 3 starts or something. So.
Well, I guess the Reds made the right decision not calling him. So, and Tampa Bay saw the light.
Pitch once and said, "See you later."
Get out. You gave us 3 good innings. That's all we're expecting out of you, anyhow. So, the Rocky series. You were at the Tuesday night game, Crawley.
Yeah,
so
it was rocking and rolling.
Yep, and it was fun to sweep the Rockies. It always gives you a little pause when a team comes in and that's not playing very well and you're supposed to win, and can the Reds meet that expectation of beating the teams that they're supposed to beat? And they did. Sometimes it was a little more tooth and nail than you would like to see. But overall, I think it was a good performance for the Reds. You guys got anything on that Rocky series you want to follow up with the Tuesday night game that you were there?
Yeah, I mean, Alexis Diaz was, man, he was on fumes, man. He was pitching his heart out, trying to just get through because they just use him so much. And the game I was at, Reds were up whatever it was, 8-2 or something, or 8-3 or something. And I'm sure Diaz had his feet up on the lawn chair and probably drank a few beers and maybe smoked a cigar while he was and then he's like, oh crap, I gotta actually pitch because the rest of his bullpen sucked.
Yeah.
So he, it's like those kind of games where that kills them just because, when you're up that on the Rockies, you shouldn't have to use your closer. But then they had to use them. And I think then, I don't know if they used them the next night as well, or I think they did. I think that
was a day game. Wednesday was the day game, right? Yeah, because they were off Thursday.
Wednesday, yeah, they did.
Yeah, they
Wednesday
didn't
and Thursday. He had Thursday off. So.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of the takeaways. But I mean, we'll get into it more with the Reds. I mean, the Rocky series was kind of indicative of where the Reds are. I mean, again, their starters just they're not major league caliber. Right. The bullpen has been, thankfully, and their hitting is above major league caliber right now. So it's pulling them through. But so we'll see. But
yeah, and then the Braves series here. Friday night was electric. Obviously, it was a sold out stadium, and I mean, it was just from the first pitch through the end of the game. My nephews were there, and they were just saying it was just nonstop buzz. The atmosphere was just unbelievable, and especially when they, Luke, Mr. 10 ERA in the first inning, Weaver comes out and gives up a big old 5 spot, and you just can't dig yourself a hole like that all the time that he starts. And I don't know.
Single time.
Yeah. Well,
every single time.
And I'm not a pitcher, so I don't, I know, I was a baseball player, so I know superstition and ritual and routine, but good God, you got to try something different. He might be trying something different, but a different warm-up approach or bullpen or something so that when he gets out there, he's not, he's not throwing. He's just, I don't know what he's doing out there. I can't put my finger on it. He's not attacking the zone when he's up, and then he gets down to 3-2. And I guess Larkin was saying that, his ball, when he misses, his ball just tails back over the plate and it gets crushed. And it got crushed. It got crushed. But
it was, it's almost like I felt like watching that first inning. It's like watching a little league game when the pitcher's just not very good, and you just know he's just gonna get crushed, and it's just single after double. Then there's a walk, and I was like, this is like a little kid pitching against a major league team here. It was just terrible. I know I was to say it was just like, this is just you can't have this at the major league level. The A's could use Weaver. But outside of that, he needs to go. But he's not. He's already scheduled to pitch against the Orioles.
Yep.
So, you better be ready for a bullpen game. You need 7 innings out of your bullpen. So
yeah, and that's and we'll talk a little bit more about what are they doing here in the near future. But just talk about the game, right? It's the Reds make a comeback, take the lead.
It was a great game.
Ellie Dela Cruz, obviously the cycle. Unbelievable. First time since Davis in 89 to do it. And Joey Votto, comes back and hits 2 bombs and you just had that atmosphere that just, yes, we're not out of it. We're not dead. We're too young, right? Too young to understand that the game should have been over after the first inning. And they just keep plucking away, and they just keep coming at you. And that's what I think the fans are really excited about, is that just never say die attitude. We're just going to keep plucking away. And once the
Somebody's going by on a dirt bike.
I was gonna say, I'm hearing like a dirt bike.
No, it's
race car
legitimate.
race.
They're driving through here on a dirt bike.
Well, next time they come by, just flag them down, say we got a podcast going on, and tell them to stop. So, but yeah, I think that's what the town wants, right? They want just a product that they can be proud of, and they play hard, and they never quit, they never give up, and that's Cincinnati in a nutshell. That blue collar mentality.
But I will say this: you can have that all in the world. I bet the A's have a lot of pluckishness and guys that want to play hard and have a bunch of heart, but they have talent now. That's the difference.
Well, that is true.
I can pull up every Tom, Dick, and Harry that runs hard down to first base onto this team, and you got last year's team. They don't. I mean, those guys wanted to play hard, and they tried hard. They were good. I mean, they would if it was based on effort. I mean, there was never a time I remember going, God, these guys aren't even trying anymore. I mean, they were trying. They just were terrible.
I don't know. You had Moose in there. He wasn't trying too hard.
Yeah, he's fat and out of shape. But beside him, yeah, he should be arrested for burglary. But beside him, I mean, the difference is you have talent on it. You actually have a caliber, and that's your difference. Your number one difference. And so they can come back because they can actually hit. You got guys that actually can hit the ball, like a major league level play. I mean, we're so, we've been so jaded because we've been sitting here watching these last few years and without a major league caliber team in the starting lineup, we're just like, anything, put a ball in play, not strike out, the strikeout home run dynamic that's been going on for, 25 years. In Great American. I mean, even had a lot of that even with the good 2012 team. So I think this is the first team that's more athletic than they are powerful. Where balls in play, they're getting singles. I mean, they're going games without. I mean, they have been hitting more home runs in the last couple of weeks. It seems like than they were definitely. But yeah, it's just nice to see a team that can actually compete at a higher level, major league caliber level.
Yeah, and that goes into the next question here, or the topic here. This our show is called The Great Debate, and some of these questions here we can debate them all day if we want to, but we'll start with are the Reds buyers, and if they are, when will they be buyers, and who will not be in the organization? What's your opinions on that?
If I had to guess, they're going to wait until the last possible moment to make that decision. They're not going to make a trade before the August 1st deadline. I can't imagine if, they fall off a little bit that we're going to be buyers, even though the Central is a terrible division. I think they'd rather just play it out. If that's, say we fall back to around the 500 mark and we're 2-3 games out, just play it out and see what happens there. I'd be hesitant to say that the front office is going to be buyers. I would love for them to be buyers and go out and get another back end bullpen guy or, a third, fourth-ish type of starting pitcher to help with the playoff push. But with the amount of young talent that you have, you don't really want to give up too much for a rental, so you're gonna have to find the right guy who's also going to be on the team next year at the very least. Starting pitcher wise, bullpen guy, I mean, you can probably get a rental relative that can come in and be a good piece for you. I think they've done a good job amassing the prospects and the talent, but now kind of building out the rest of the roster, that one or two extra pieces to have a playoff team. We'll see if Nick Krall can actually do that now. So,
yeah, I'd agree with all that. What Sam just said. I don't want a rental. I don't want a guy here only for 2 months. I mean, unless I were to give up like a bag of balls or something for him. I mean, that's fine. But I'm not giving up anybody. The top, 10, of the organization prospect wise for a rental. Now, if you get a guy. I think of the name I've seen, or not that anybody's, I guess I saw it on some lists, is Bieber from Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not going to give him up until they know they're probably out of it, and they're not out of it right now. So, he would be, kind of like the Bauer trade where you would have him for this year and next year. Would I consider giving up, I'm not giving up CES for him for that, or I'm not giving up Marte or something, but, maybe somebody in the back half of the top 10 type thing. Maybe I consider that because at least you're getting another full year out of someone like that. But yeah, I don't want anybody here for just 2 months. I wouldn't give up anybody of substance for that because, yes, we won 12 in a row and it's great, and I hope they continue. But we're not really, because of our starting pitching, especially, we're not World Series caliber at this point. You can just see it against the Braves. Friday was maybe the best game of the year, but they just keep the pressure on. The Braves have this whole series, and we're throwing Randy Wynn and Levi Stout, and who heck are better than Luke Weaver at this point. But we're Ashcraft. We just can't compete at that play a higher playoff level with that starting rotation. So, there's no point in sacrificing next year and the year after for what we can't do much, this year anyway. From that standpoint, I'd love to make the playoffs. I think that it would really help them. It's like this has been helping the morale of the team and moving in. And because the division is shitty, Crawl, it's like Aroldis Chapman's been talked about. Sure, I would get Aroldis Chapman, but I wouldn't give him Marte for Aroldis Chapman. I wouldn't give him, Edwin Arroyo for Aroldis Chapman even.
I'd give him Nick Senzel. I like Nick Senzel. He's playing so much better, especially against left-handers. But I think you can get more. I think you could get Chapman for him instead of Newman, right?
Either one. I'd probably give either one for Chapman. But
yeah, I would too. But I don't think the Royals would take a Newman. I think they would take a Senzel.
Senzel still has a year of team control, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, it'd be more like you probably still have to throw in kind of an Austin Hendricks type level prospect who's kind of fallen off to maybe it's kind of a sweet.
Yeah. Well, I think to answer my question, I think a lot. I do agree with you all about they're going to wait a little bit, just because the next. Before the All-Star break, they go to Baltimore, who's another team fighting for first place in their division. They remind a lot of people of the Reds from, like last year. Baltimore team reminds a lot of people of the Reds this year. And then they got San Diego coming in, and then they get a little break with Washington, and then they go to Milwaukee right before the All-Star break. And then coming out of the All-Star break, they got Milwaukee, San Francisco, and Arizona, and then Milwaukee again, and then the Dodgers to close out the month of July. So that, I think, is going to dictate, if we start slipping back to the middle of the pack, then I don't think they make a move at all, because they're going to say, well, we'll be getting Hunter Green back, hopefully, sometime in July. We'll be getting, hopefully, Nick back sometime in August. And they're saying Antone is scheduled to make a rehab start. So he could be back in August. So, the reinforcements are coming. It's just they might be just a little too late. And I agree with you, Charlie. I don't think we should sacrifice any top 10 for a rental just to appease us fans, because we want to win the division and we want to, because we're not winning the World Series. Not with this rotation. So,
but would I consider Edwin Arroyo for Shane Bieber? Yeah, I would consider that.
Yeah.
Reds.
Yeah, anybody that could be on the team next year.
With the Bauer year, that's what they did. They, he was around for another year, and it was that weird COVID year, but
right.
They did make the playoffs with that, from that rotation and things. So would I consider that? Yeah. Because, I totally wouldn't sacrifice it. However, you can never say, okay, I'm never one to say let's count on next year, because you never know what next year is going to be.
Right.
When you have a chance to go for it, in the current year, I think you go for it up to a certain point. But yes, you do have to be smart about it and understand this team is not World Series caliber.
Right.
They'd have to import like 4 starting pitchers in order to have any chance for that, and that's not going to happen. So, it's tough. I think they're in a great place. I mean, with all that young talent. I mean, compared to, I'm sure last year at this time as we were talking, it was an embarrassment as we were talking. We were basically talking about the A's.
That is true.
The Rockies, or whatever you want to say. So I'd much rather be in the position we're at now than 365 days ago.
That is true. Yep.
Diaz is pitching right now for some reason in the 8th inning. Because the Braves have first and second with nobody out.
What's the score?
Braves are up still 6-4.
Why is Diaz pitching?
Yeah, I don't get why he's pitching.
To try just to keep them close. I mean, it's like
now it's first and third.
But see, that's where
with
it's
no
like
outs. Yeah,
it's like
this is where the criticism of Bell comes. We've been giving him a pass because we've literally had no arms in the bullpen, but now he still doesn't know how to handle the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. If it's a tie game in that situation, you bring in Diaz, but I know it's a high leverage situation, but it's like you can't, especially when he's shown now that his arm gets fatigued if you use him a lot.
He can't go 3 days in a row.
Right.
Like he can only go 2. It's like you're wasting him. And he gets out of the inning, he keeps it 6-4. Great. Great. Best case scenario, now the Reds take the lead. Who are you putting in?
You're going to send him back out?
Because I mean,
Lucas Sims. I don't know.
They wouldn't. He's probably Sims.
Yeah, but Sims looked horrible yesterday. Well, I mean, it was that
2 days ago.
It was yesterday.
2 days ago.
That was yesterday.
He
gave up the 3 solo homers.
Yeah, 3 solo
that
homers.
Was yesterday. Oh, I thought that was
that was Friday. That was
Friday.
Because it went from 11 to 7.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and what do you want to call it? Had to come back. Yeah, Diaz. Then he was putting his feet up because they were up 5, right? And then next thing you know, it is what it is. All right. The next question: the more impressive streak, FC's 13 home victories or the Reds 12 in a row?
I'm going to say the Reds 12 in a row just because of how bad the starting pitching is. To be able to win 12 games in a row with that rotation I think that's more impressive. I mean, they're both of those streaks are extremely impressive, but I think, FC Cincinnati came into the year as one of the better teams. We knew they were going to be one of the better teams, and they've proved us right. Whereas the Reds to win 12 in a row with that, I mean, that's
and not only
insane.
Winning 12 in a row, but how they won 8 of those 12, right?
Yeah.
I mean, comebacks.
Right, exactly. Right.
3 or more. I mean, it's crazy.
They have to come. They're always behind.
Right.
They play every game from behind.
Yeah. I think I saw the stat before yesterday's game. They were, after Friday night's game, I think they were 20-1 when the other team scores first. So, I mean, I think go ahead.
I was going to agree with Sam. The Reds 12 game just because one, how improbable it was, and doing it with a bunch of young guys, and
Well, I just think it's it reminds me, I don't want to take anything away from SC Cincinnati's home streak, but it's sort of like football games, right? The goal is to win your home matches, home games, and then on the road, try to win half of them, those type of things. But if you win 12 straight anything, in baseball, or just 12 in a row all the time, like FC Cincinnati, they had a couple draws in there. They, had a loss earlier in the year. So it wasn't, 13 consecutive games. It was sort of like what the Reds did. So I think, I agree. I think that's the most impressive one as well. All right, here we go. The fans are flocking down to the ballpark again. Is this a baseball town? Or are
It's
we? Are
always
we?
been a baseball town.
I mean, are we back to um, claiming baseball, or is the verdict still out?
Diaz just walked somebody,
Oh.
run in, bases loaded, walked somebody in.
Way to go!
So,
Way to go!
Good call, Bill. Good call.
Well, players have to produce too, so So, what do you think? Baseball town? I mean, I think this weekend, showed that.
When people just don't have any interest in sports, but they want to talk sports, they always bring up the Reds in Cincinnati. They don't bring up the Bengals or FCC. They just don't. It's the Reds is kind of the first place that they go. So the Reds have always been the team, I guess you could say, but it's been the front office and the ownership that has turned people off. So when the team is good, right, you can tell like the city is a baseball town. Just the team just got to be good, kind of in spite of the ownership, and then we'll kind of ignore the ownership until they rear their ugly head again. So,
yeah, I mean, is the question kind of like, is it like a baseball or a football or a soccer town? I mean, that kind of version, or is it just like, are we also a baseball town? Is it kind of go along with each other?
Well, no, I think
because I think at this point, I mean, Cincinnati just is a sports town.
Sports town,
I mean, it's
right,
it's not,
and that's,
I wouldn't say we're a baseball town over a football town. I mean, people love the Bengals. I mean, they just do. But that comes out of the NFL. People love the NFL,
right?
And I think.
But I guess
I think the Reds are hit from different punches, and one is that people don't love MLB anymore as a general population of the country,
right.
And the Reds are god awful. And so, if the Cardinals were to, they always bring the Cardinals up against the Reds. The Cardinals have never done what the Reds have done for the last 20 years in terms of just ineptitude. They just haven't. Put the Cardinals through the 20 years that the Reds have experienced, since since 2000, let's say, and put that in St. Louis and see if St. Louis is still drawing 45,000 or 42,000, whatever they do every game. I bet they won't, because St. Louis won't put up with it either. So. Yeah. So it's that's the factors of, why the Reds, why people have just thrown their hands up in the air and said, I'm not dealing with them anymore. A bad ownership. And it wasn't like all of a sudden it was bad ownership when the Kathleen took over. It was bad ownership when Lindner was there. It was bad ownership with Marge Schott. She would just spend money, to overcome some of her craziness. And then the ass kicker is that the owner of the Cardinals is from Cincinnati. So,
right.
So it's like, how do we get to unfortunately, draw that? He should be owning the Reds, not the freaking Cardinals. So, it's just all those factors you throw into it, and you get where we're at in terms of why people just were just done with the Reds.
Yeah, I always think Cincinnati is a baseball town just because the Bengals haven't won the big game yet. If the Bengals win a Super Bowl, if the Bengals win a couple of Super Bowls here in the Burrow era, it might shift a little bit, right? Just because of the NFL and their mega corporation, 365 days, you can't get anything on ESPN that isn't NFL related. And so it's always going to be in your face. And like you said, the younger generation is, sort of lost interest in the Reds, right? I mean, in Major League Baseball, period. And Major League Baseball does a horrible job marketing their stars. And, it's just one of those things. But, I think Cincinnati has always been a baseball town, and will probably always be a baseball town. You look at this weekend, you look at, just 28,000, on a Tuesday night, because we even had that debate earlier in the year, who would draw more, FC Cincinnati or the Reds on a Tuesday night game. And, the Reds have outdrawn them twice when they were playing on the same day. And then when you get 29,000 for a business day special, against the Rockies. That's something too to be said. So, and it's summertime, school's out, more people are coming to the games, and that's where they're going. And not to say that we can't be a sports town, because I think we are. We're one of the best sports town around, but I just think that we are a baseball town. Even though one of the polls that, I don't know if it was Moeger or the other Lance somebody put out this poll, like, who would you, with the current, on the talk of the Reds making the playoffs, World Series, who would you rather see win? Would you rather see the Bengals win a Super Bowl this year or the Reds a World Series? And the majority of the people said the Bengals win in the Super Bowl. It was like 70 some percent to 30 some percent, which, because I think the Reds have already won the World Series, and I think it would mean just more if the Bengals won their first Super Bowl, to validate the city of Cincinnati and the Bengals in the NFL. So, all right, this next question, this one's where we might get some debate, or we might not. Who are you giving credit to for the turnaround this season?
It's a good
Do I
question.
have options, or am I just saying who I think?
Who do you know? Yep, nope. It's a debate. So who do you think deserves the credit? I mean, for the turnaround. I mean, for this year. And if you want to give it multiple, you can give percentages out. So like
I break it down by percentage. That's how I did it.
Yeah,
so I did different groups by percentage. So I did I put the rookie talent 40%. So that's all the rookies, which is at least 4 of them that I was putting in there. I think, right? McLean, De La Cruz, Steer, Abbott. I'm probably missing somebody, but so the rookie talent I put 40%. I kind of look at that as the Joe Burrow effect a little bit. When you put above average talent onto a team, it actually makes a difference. The biggest difference. You put Joe Burrow on the shitty Bengals, and all of a sudden they're competing for the playoffs. I wonder why. I wonder, it's magical how that happens. Talent equals wins. Unbelievable. So 40% for the rookie talent. I put 20% on improvement of the other young guys. So Hunter Green, Fraley, Friedel, India, those guys, 20% on their improvement. I put 20% on the bullpen. The bullpen has saved their ass this year, which I can't believe I'm saying. If you go back to the first couple of weeks, when we were
7-15,
oh my god,
you wanted them all out of here.
Yeah. So I put 20% on the bullpen, and then I put 20% on the front office / coaches and stuff like that. I mean, maybe I should put like 10% on the minor league coaches for development of these guys, and then 10% on the major league staff. So there's my breakdown. To me, the rookie talent is the number one reason why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I had players. I just lumped them all together. Players, probably about 60%, because they have to go out and perform. And then I gave David Bell some love. I had him at, like 20%, just because, you've got to be able to maintain some sort of leadership in that clubhouse. And, he's, for right or wrong, today, he was wrong about throwing Diaz, but he's put the right people in the right places most of the time. But the players have to perform. Yeah, that's what I mean. The lineup the lineup, he has done, even though I scratch my head sometimes, like Friday night where Will Benson wasn't in the game, and but it it worked out, right?
Well, I think he's a little Zach Taylor-ish in that he's the players like him. The players,
right?
They know he has their back. They're not going to he's not going to throw any of them under the bus. He's going to he gets out there and argues like crazy sometimes for him and those kind of things. And there was something I just saw this week where again, something about, Bell, the players know he has their back, and they showed him running it when the Pirates and the Reds there, and you see Bell sprinting out of the dugout and just jumping in the middle of the melee and
going after Clint Hurdle.
Yeah, going after some player first and then Clint Hurdle and stuff. So, I mean, that was just like their example of that. So, and that's what Zach Taylor's done. He's created a positive culture, and the players know that he's there for them, and and that kind of stuff. Am I a great supporter of Bell as a analytical, X's and O's, whatever you call it, baseball manager? No, I still don't think he's very good at that. But culture wise, yeah, he's done a good job of that.
And then I put Nick Kroll in there because, I mean, if you look at what he's done the last year and a half with some of the trades that he's made, he could be up for GM of the year. I mean, he could be. Just, I mean, you might laugh, but in the circles
last year, who's he brought in this year?
Yeah. Well, but I'm just saying.
If you think about it, I agree with what Sam just said. If you think about on the major league roster, who's actually that Kroll brought in that's actually contributing? One guy this year, Steer. That's it.
Well, Fraley.
They brought in Fraley last year. If you're saying GM of the year, it's this past off season to
okay,
now.
I'll give you Fraley. I'll give you Fraley as well because Kroll was the GM at that point. So so Fraley and Steer. I mean, these other guys. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz wasn't Kroll.
No,
McLean wasn't Kroll.
But
Abbott wasn't Kroll.
Drafted him.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't draft Ellie.
It was the guy before him.
Ellie was an international free agent. He didn't get drafted.
Well,
they signed him when he was 16, so that was
5 years ago.
5 years. Kroll hasn't been around.
Kroll was there, but he was like, he was like running videotape or something back then.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he's only been the general manager. This is his third year, isn't it?
Well, but he was co-general managers with Williams or an assistant general manager.
I think he was the pet at that point.
Well,
good boy. Good boy. Go run some more video for me. Go edit some more video. So I'm just saying, 2 years from now, Kroll he might be the greatest run of. I mean, besides the Big Red Machine in Reds history.
But you got to give
CES is up here contributing. If Connor Phillips is up here and those things. But I'm not giving him credit for Andrew Abbott. I'm not giving him credit for Ellie De La Cruz. I mean, that's the minor league development guys, that are doing that.
I'll give him credit for the prospects.
I don't want I don't want him coaching anybody on how to throw a fastball. Whatever,
I'm not saying that, but I mean, some of the prospects he brought in off of those trades,
but they're just prospects now.
They are, but they've got us rejuvenized, right? And because they have, when they come up to the major leagues, they've produced. So,
I'll tell you where he's bad, though. He's bad at finding that fourth starter in free agency.
Fourth starter, second starter.
Well, that's
the hypothetical fourth starter.
Yeah, I have not given any credit to Phil or Bob because they need to
sign him Moustakis. Yeah, that was really great. That was a good one.
Yeah. So that's not.
That wasn't Kroll. I will say that.
That's true. That was. Yeah. I think that was the year before he took over. But
the starting staff is all in Kroll, and that's the Castellinis. I put all them together. I mean that's a tragedy what he did and what him or they did in terms of that starting staff. So, they're winning in spite of that. So it's always going to be, this year is always going to be balanced on what Kroll does with the pitching staff. And he's just done a terrible job with it. I don't care what people say. So about that, because they're, everybody's so enamored about the lineup and how well they're doing. That's great, but you can't win without a good.
Can't win with Sessa and Weaver
and Overton.
And Overton. Whew, forgot about Overton. Whew, mercy.
So yeah, I'll give him. I said I gave the whole front office, coaching staff, everybody 20%, but I'd say a lot of that is the minor league coaching, the minor league development guys. So,
yep. All right. So let's get into our top performers of the past week. So we got our pitchers, hitters, and then we'll go into who should be DFA'd already. So pitching wise. Yeah.
I threw a wild card in on this one.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Alex Young. He's the
Wow.
only left-hander in the bullpen, which, again, another crawl tragedy.
Right.
And he had freaking in 1 week 5 appearances. Again, the dude's arm's going to fall off. 7 games, he had to appear 5 times. Again, because he's the only left-hander. So I don't put that on Bell. Bell's like, he's the only left-hander. I need a left-hander.
Use him,
somebody in the, doing this to somebody in the stands or something. I guess would be his next option.
He'll come out and say, Jabot, just turn around, throw with your left hand because your right hand. Just throw with this left hand. See if it's any better.
I mean, put De La Cruz in there. So whatever. But I mean, he got I don't put that on Bell at all. But so I'm giving it to Alex Young. Just 5 appearances and 5 wins or 7 wins over the course of the week. But so there's my wild card.
It's good. I like it. I like it a lot. Sam?
I'll just steal Crawley's because I didn't really have. I was going to go with Jabot since he picked up his team leading 8th win.
I love how he get 8 wins. Like 6 of them is when he's given up the lead in that inning that he's pitched, and then they take the lead.
Come back and win. Yeah. Jabot 8-6 with a 7 ERA, man. It's like, should make him a starter.
You pull up MLB.com, he's on the wins leaderboard.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I like Abbott, even though, he had a rough outing the other day, but he, gave up his first earned runs, but then he settled down, and
he's all they got right now.
Yeah.
In the rotation.
Pretty much. Really. Yeah. So that's who I gave. All right. Hitters of the week. Is there anybody?
That's almost as tough, but from the opposite side, because there's to pick one guy. I mean,
I said Votto, just the way he came back off the IL came up, and he's had big moments. So the Rockies, he had the go ahead RBI, 2-run RBI there on the single. He had a home run earlier that game. He had 2 home runs on Friday, including the go ahead home run. So I don't know what his overall numbers are, but his moments have been what we needed. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine with Votto. I put Ellie De La Cruz just for between the cycle and all that stuff. Yeah. But I have no problem with Votto. I mean, he's done a great job since he's been back.
I
plays out, but
I gave it to Ellie just because after his benching, right, the 2 days off or whatever, he's batting. I mean, I can't remember what he's hitting, like 500 or 400.
Well, this week he's batting. He's gone down because of today, I guess, because he was batting over 500 this week. But he's over for 3 or 4 today. So
he was sitting in the 2s, and then all of a sudden he was up in the 350s before today, and
he's 338 overall now.
Yeah, so that's who I gave it with. I mean, with the cycle and the adjustment he made. I mean, he hit that 117 mile an hour double. It was first to bat on Friday, and then he was sitting curveball. I mean, you could just see it. He was sitting curveball, and he got the curveball, and he didn't miss it, and hit that thing a mile high in the air, and it just kept going. And then he made the adjustment, broken bat single, and then he just reached out and hit that triple to the fence. And you knew once that got down, he wasn't
stopping.
No. But so that's the hitters there. And now, what about the worst performers of the week, and or who should be sent packing?
Well, they just sent somebody down today. That who'd they send? They DFA'd him. Brancho.
Bracho.
Yeah.
But that was just numbers. I mean, numbers.
Yeah, it's a numbers thing.
He's only pitched once, I think.
Yeah, wasn't that yesterday he pitched? So he was probably
Yeah, I think so,
useless
yeah.
today. So
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
get out of here. We'll bring somebody else
Yeah.
up. Kevin
So-
Hergon.
McLean just doubled. It's now 7-6. Double with the bases loaded. McLean just did it. That's his 4th hit of the game.
Wow. He's starting to finally figure it
So
out
what,
again.
Steers up? Was Steer hitting third today?
Yep.
Yeah,
Steers
Steers
hitting
hitting
third.
third.
So, all right.
Yeah, McLean
Come
has
on.
1 home run today, and it hasn't updated yet, but
2 doubles.
couple
I think.
doubles, yeah, couple doubles and a home run today. So again, rookie talent.
Yeah.
So
Making the adjustments because he was like 1 for 12 or something like that. Even though he has an on base streak.
yeah, just said something about he's the first Reds rookie to have 4 extra base hits in a game.
Mhm.
So it's 7-6.
So,
They keep coming back.
Weaver needs to go down, and I wouldn't mind seeing Ashcraft go down and to try and figure something
Yeah,
out.
I agree with both of those.
He's,
yeah.
I mean,
those pitching wise, yeah. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. You don't want to.
Who's gonna take their
Right?
spot?
They literally just need people for innings, but these guys aren't giving them innings.
Well, Weaver was supposed to be the innings eater, right? And he can't even go 4. I mean, 4+, and it's just like, are you kidding me? Yeah, I mean, I had Jabot going down just because the guy can never keep a lead.
Steer just flew out
At the ball game?
Nah, going to the 9th.
Oh, going to the 9th. Okay,
Yep.
well, Ellie's up. Votto.
Votto got pinch hit for.
Yeah, they
he did.
Yeah,
Oh, because
India
there was
pinch
lefty.
hit for him. Yeah, lefty. You know,
I think it was
So it's-
India.
India.
Okay. All right. Well, so yeah, you know, I had Jabot, but you know, a guy who needs to figure it out, and I don't know if it just he needs more playing time or what, but Tyler Stevenson needs to pick it up a little bit, or he might be on my send him down to AAA list here in the next couple of weeks because he's not doing much.
None of the catchers are.
Yeah.
It's been the weak spot in the lineup. Whoever they put there.
All right. Speaking about weak spots, we're going to move right into trivia. The last time we were all together, I had the impossible trivia question of the week, and it was, and I've updated it since we were here again. It says the Reds have had how many consecutive games batting with at least 1 strikeout? And you guys were giving guesses and stuff, and you had no clue. So as of today, it's 4,113 consecutive games with a strikeout. The last time they did not strike out in a game was June 23rd, 1997 versus the Montreal Expos. So there you go. And Sam, I think you have the trivia question for this week.
It's going to be a little bit easier than that one.
Not just gonna be a random guess to throw it out like
so
in there and hope it's
we should have played the old Price is Right game, higher or lower, higher or lower.
Yeah,
you know, that's my fault there. So
all right, so this one, like I said, a little easier, maybe even too easy, but we'll see. So this NFL division, no team has ever hosted the Super Bowl. They're the only division that hasn't had a team host the Super Bowl.
It's the AFC. I mean, North. I think because
it's the AFC.
North.
Yep.
Because Detroit hosted in the NFC.
Yep.
North.
Detroit and Minnesota.
And Minnesota did. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They did do Minnesota, didn't they?
Yep. When they had the dome. Yeah. I was trying to think because Pittsburgh didn't, Bengals didn't, Cleveland, and
there's no domes. So
and Baltimore hasn't. Yeah. So
when I saw that, it just kind of threw me off, and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of neat. But,
yeah, that is. All right, so we are going to the topic of the week, and Sam, you were supposed to be running this. You had something for us?
Yeah. So I basically just a name that player type of deal here.
Okay.
So basically what I'm going to do is I've got a list of guys here. I'm going to pull up their baseball reference page, Once I get my screens all set up here. So I'm going to pull up the reference page, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you the teams that they played for and their main stats. And if you guys can't get it off of that first guess, then I'll tell you the years that they played for the teams, accolades, stuff like that, any like nicknames or something like that, and see if you guys can get the player.
All right. So just Major League Baseball, correct?
Just Major League Baseball. These are all pretty well-known guys. Some Hall of Famers, some not. Some borderline, recently retired. There's only 2 are currently active, so most of them are retired. If we get to everybody. Let me get my tabs open here real quick. Alrighty, so this first guy, he played for 4 teams in his career. He played for Atlanta, Chicago, the Dodgers, and the Padres. His career numbers, 355 wins, 227 losses, and a 3.16 ERA.
That's Greg Maddux.
That is Greg Maddux, yep.
I did not remember Maddox played for the Dodgers and the Padres.
Yep. The end of his career, yeah.
End of his career, yeah.
No idea.
Yep.
I only remember Braves and Cubs.
Alrighty, so this next guy, he has played.
Are you giving them in order of how they played, or are you just giving me like?
I'm going off of Baseball Reference. They have it listed for the most years they played for each team.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily in order.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like for this next guy, he's played for 5 teams. He's played for Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, San Francisco, New York Yankees, and the Milwaukee Brewers. His career numbers.
You know it already.
His career numbers. He's got 2007 hits. Yeah, it's McCutcheon. All right. That one is McCutcheon.
Stomp the Swami. Right. Was that a game show?
All righty. This next guy has played for 4 teams. Played for Montreal, Los Angeles Angels, Texas Rangers, Baltimore Orioles. His numbers, 2,590 hits, 449 home runs, and a 318 batting average.
Read those teams again. Montreal,
Los Angeles Angels, Texas Rangers, Baltimore Orioles.
Wasn't Palmeiro, was it?
It's not Palmeiro. He is in the Hall of Fame. 9-time, 8-time Silver Slugger.
Tim Raines? Angels.
So
Angels and Orioles.
Because I was thinking Expos.
Do you want years?
Orioles.
Years that he played for each team?
Angels, and who was between the Angels and the Orioles? Teams?
Texas Rangers.
Yeah, give me the years.
Oh,
so he played
Vladimir Guerrero?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did not think he played for I knew he played for the Angels. I forgot he played for the Rangers, but I didn't think he played for the
Rangers and Baltimore at the end of his career, 1 year each. Yep. All right, next guy. All right, this guy has played for 4 teams also. Philadelphia Phillies, Texas Rangers, Chicago Cubs, and the Atlanta Braves. His career numbers, 163 for wins, 122 for losses, career ERA of 3.43.
So Philly, Braves,
Philly, Texas, Chicago Cubs, and the Braves.
What's his name? Left-handed pitcher. Gosh, darn it.
The guy who no-hit the Reds.
I don't
That
think he
dude?
no-hit the Reds.
In the playoffs.
No, that was Roy
Doc
Halladay.
Halladay.
Yeah,
that
Doc
was Roy
Halladay.
Halladay.
Yeah. No, this guy's left-handed. He signed for like a ton of money, and he got injured and really didn't amount to much for Texas. Oh gosh.
Well, you're speaking of DeGrom now, but that's not.
Well, yeah, but it's like I want to say like a Shane, but it's not Shane. Sean. Not Sean either.
No.
Not Shane. Gosh, I can see him. He's lefty. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, big lefty.
Not Eric Milton because he played for the Reds. Oh gosh, what is his name? Gosh.
He made a name for himself with the Phillies.
Yeah.
He's known for the Phillies. Yeah,
and he had like the ERA. He was like the ERA leader with the Phillies, Major League Baseball.
De La Cruz just struck out again. Got a bad day. 0 for 5.
Lefty. Yep. Lefty. Oh, what is his name? Oh.
Yeah, Phillies came up in 2006 with the Phillies until 2015. 2015.
They're that long then.
Yeah, he traded him to Texas where he signed in his extension.
Yeah.
And then he was with the Cubs and the Braves to round out his career. 4-time All-Star, but no.
Yeah. Cole Hamels.
Yep,
Cole Hamels. That's it.
There you go.
Yep.
Fraley's up right now.
All right, come on, Rick.
Yeah, between De La Cruz and Fraley, they're 0 for 9 today.
Wow. Is
Analytics
Iglesias
didn't give him a hit today.
pitching for?
Yeah, Iglesias is pitching this inning. Yeah.
Alrighty, so this next guy, he's played for the Washington Nationals, Detroit Tigers, Arizona Diamondbacks, New York Mets, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. His career number, he's 204 with a 3.13 ERA.
Say the teams again.
Teams
So he's a pitcher.
are. He is a pitcher. The Nationals, Detroit Tigers, Arizona Diamondbacks, New York Mets, and Los Angeles Dodgers.
That's Scherzer.
It is Scherzer. Yep.
Fraley single.
All right. India's up.
Yeah. He's been a hole for this past week.
Yeah, he has been. It's been nice, Bell. If Votto would have been hitting here.
Yeah.
Flair for the dramatics.
Yeah, Indy had the day off until they pinch hit
Yep.
when he was up, and Votto was up last time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this next guy, he played Miami Marlins, Boston Red Sox, Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Cleveland then Indians.
Oh, this is a pitcher, right?
No, this is a hitter.
Oh, no, okay.
This is a hitter. Career 1,834 hits, 271 home runs, 289 career batting average.
What were the teams again? The Marlins.
Marlins, Red Sox, Dodgers, Indians. He won Rookie of the Year, 3-time All-Star, 2 Silver Sluggers, and he has a batting title.
Not Manny, is it? Ramirez?
It's not Manny. Nope.
I don't think he played for the Marlins. It's not Bichette.
Not JD Martinez, is it?
Oh, is it the shortstop, Edgar Renteria?
Not Edgar Renteria. This guy was a shortstop. So I'll give you his timeline here. He came up with the Red Sox, played 2 games, got traded to the Marlins.
Okay, so not a Red Sox, really.
So yeah.
Okay.
He got traded to the
Marlins.
Marlins, signed with the Dodgers, and then got traded back to the Red Sox. And then his last year was with Cleveland.
India just singled, bloop single behind first base, so it's first and third.
First and
One
third.
out.
One out.
Who's
Yeah.
up now? Stevenson? No, Stevenson is.
I think Newman
Will
might
Benson.
be. I think it's
Oh,
Newman
because they
pinch
pinched
for
hit for
Benson.
Nice. Way to go. Come on, Newman. Shortstop. Red Sox.
Yeah, but you almost got to not think about the Red Sox because 2
Right.
games.
Yeah,
So-
but he got traded back to the Red
He
Sox.
got traded back.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'd say he's
But he-
more known for being a Marlin.
For a Marlin.
Shortstop for the Marlins.
Yeah.
Not named Miguel Cabrera, who was not a shortstop, but
Right.
Mid 2000s.
he was probably with Cabrera.
He would have been, yeah.
Because when did Renteria was the first go around, right? When they won the World Series the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on who the shortstop for the Marlins was then.
I think.
He's from the Dominican. He's a Dominican shortstop.
Yeah, that doesn't narrow it down much.
Yeah. Jose Uribe, no. What numbers was he?
Let's see. He was for the Marlins, he was number 2.
Tony Fernandez. No. No, he played with more teams than that. But
And I thought
looks
Gary
like-
Sheffield, but he played with
Yeah.
more teams too.
yeah.
And he wasn't a shortstop either. So
It looks like for the Dodgers and Red Sox, he wore number 13. His first stint with the Red Sox, he wore number 60. Not that that's going to help you.
Yeah. All right. 13 and number 2. Is it Cabrera? Orlando Cabrera?
Nope.
Hmm.
You guys give up?
so because he played for the Indians,
Yeah.
I believe, at some point.
Yeah. Not Ozzie Guillen. Yeah, I don't know.
Hanley Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Yes, Hanley Ramirez. That's
I would
right.
have never thought of that though. But I do remember he was like a Red Sox,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah,
big prospect for the Red Sox.
right.
So they probably traded him for.
Josh
that's-
Beckett.
That's who I was thinking
Probably.
the pitcher was, Josh
Yeah,
Beckett. That's
Josh
who I thought he
Beckett.
was going for when he said Red Sox and Marlins. So
Yep. So
yeah, so that was the second go round. That was
second
that
go-round.
was the Miguel Cabrera Marlins.
yep.
Yeah. All righty. This next guy. This page will load here.
Newman's still battling 2
Hey.
2 and 2. He's hit about 3
Right.
foul balls.
That's perfect. Just a little bloop. Tie it
That's
up.
all he needs, first and third, or a fly ball. He just hit a grounder. He's gonna hit into a double play, and he did. He hit into a freaking double play.
Newman.
End the game.
All he had to do was hit a fly ball. End the game. That's the game. Game over. 7-6 again.
Gosh.
First and third, and 1 out.
Well, you can blame Bell for bringing in
Yeah.
Diaz there. Trying to keep it close, but oh well.
Well, and also, again, playing right and left. And,
Yep, the righty lefties, and
and they didn't do anything the first go. India and Newman did nothing the first go round.
right. And all right, let's
All
keep
right,
it rolling,
this
or is that
next
it?
guy, I've got 2 more. I've got one more
Okay.
pitcher, one more position player. So this
All right.
is a pitcher. Seattle Mariners, Arizona Diamondbacks, Montreal Expos, New York Yankees, San Francisco Giants,
Jay Buhner.
Houston Astros.
No?
Randy Johnson, the big unit.
Randy
No.
Randy
Jay
Johnson.
Buhner.
Yep.
Oh,
Jay Buhner. Buhner.
That's right. He played for the Yankees and the Mariners, at least.
Yep.
I don't know if he played for all those other teams.
Alrighty, and position player. Oh, this guy's got more teams than I even thought. All right. Miami Marlins, Los Angeles Dodgers, Milwaukee Brewers, New York Yankees, Atlanta Braves, San Diego Padres, Detroit Tigers, and the New York Mets.
That sounds like Sheffield.
509 home runs, 292. Did you say
Sheffield?
somebody? Sorry.
I said Gary Sheffield.
Oh, yeah, it's Gary Sheffield.
Yeah.
So that sounded like Sheffield. So
yeah, I knew he played on a lot of teams.
He did.
I didn't realize he played on that many. Wow.
Yeah, he did. All right, that was fun. That was good. Hanley Ramirez stumped us, the only one. But as they used to say in another sports talk show, we don't mess around. Hey, so all right. Well, not a great weekend here for Cincinnati. As far as we
scored a lot of runs,
gave up a lot more.
What they score in the total wasn't yesterday 7-6 also.
Yeah, it was 14, 25 runs. They gave
the Reds scored 23.
23? I thought it was 25. 11.
They get 11,
6 and 6.
Oh, 6 and 6. Yeah, it was 7. Yeah. 23.
You scored 23 runs and you win one game.
Yeah. And they gave up 24. So
that's why you only win one game.
That's why. Exactly.
That's going to be the problem, playing against better teams.
Yep. But, looks like a storm is brewing out there. So stay safe, everybody, until next week. We'll have a live recap of the Taylor Swift concert here. And we are actually going to the Sunday game. So we'll probably be back to our normal time at 7 p.m. unless we're on a plane heading out to Denver to see our grandbaby. So hopefully she decides to come out here in the next couple of days.
We'll see.
I think, I don't know, Grandma and Grandpa over here are a little more excited than the son. We're like, come on, let's go. Get that thing moving. But until next week, hopefully the Reds can beat Baltimore, take 2-3 there, and take 2 or 3 from San Diego, get back on the winning ways. I just don't want this to flip to have a 12-game losing streak now. So,
well, yeah.
that would be bad. That would be bad with our pitching.
With our pitching,
it could happen. So until then, for Dave, Sam, and Charlie, everybody have a great evening. Take care.
See ya.